This one's a competitive game where each player is going to be driving their own garbage truck around a bunch of different regions in a city, and players will be collecting different colored garbage and then recycling it in a variety of ways. You can either deliver it to one of the 2 recycling plants, which will gain you victory points and money, and one of the recycling plants will want you to contribute 2 trash bags of a different color, and the other is going to want 2 trash bags of the same color. The spaces on the left are more valuable, which means that you do want to get here before the other players, because whenever you deliver the trash, it does occupy that space. But rather than recycling the trash at the different plants, you can instead reuse it in order to repair all the different objects that are scattered across the board. At the start of the game, there's going to be a bunch of these crest-shaped tokens scattered across the board, and each of them is going to be some sort of object that needs repairing. This one, for example, needs you to perform a repair action with a red trash bag in order to flip this over and gain those 2 victory points, but each of these could grant different bonuses depending on which one you decide to repair. Once this token is flipped, it can't be repaired again, and there are a limited amount of each of these, which means these are another thing that you want to get to before the other players. All the players' garbage trucks do start on the left-hand side of the board in this parking lot here, and then players will be using their actions to move around on the board, pick up the different colored trash, and then deliver it to those different locations for their respective bonuses. One thing to note about movement in this game is that each of the regions are going to be divided up with these different arrows between them, and these can indicate one-way, two-way, or restricted roads, which are indicated with this orange icon around them. And anytime you either go the wrong way down a road, or if you use a road that you are currently restricted from, that is going to gain you a fine token. Getting a couple of these isn't the worst because you can hold up to 2 of them, and then at the end of the round you can just pay them off by using money. But each of these are also double-sided, and if you ever get another fine token while you still have 2 that you haven't paid for yet, then you're going to have to flip those 2 over, revealing probably a worse consequence, and then you're going to have to resolve those consequences. These could cause you to lose money or victory points or even upgrades that you've already installed on your garbage truck. And something I really like about this game is that it's really easy to teach and play, and even though you only have a few actions to choose from, you can actually do quite a bit on your turn. And unlike a lot of other pick up and deliver games where there can be quite a distance between where you're picking up or creating those resources and then delivering them, in this one you could be picking up the resources you need and delivering them all in the same turn. The main actions players can perform is to move, pick up trash, or repair an item with that trash, and this is all going to be done through the different action cards, and each player is going to be starting with the exact same 3 at the beginning of the game. What's neat about how all of this works is that every round, players are just going to have 3 turns each, and the first turn you're just going to be playing one of the cards from your hand, but then on your second turn you get to use that card over again, adding another card either ahead or behind that card, and this is where the action queue comes into play, because every turn within a round you're always adding one more card to the front or the back of the queue. This means that for your third turn, you also get to use the 2 cards you've already put into play, which makes that turn very powerful. And you're going to be adding your last card either in front or behind those 2 cards you've already played. You just can't place a card between cards. Each of the cards can also have up to 3 different actions to choose from. Your starting ones will just have 2. The truck allows you to move a space, while the trash bag allows you to pick a trash bag up. And of course, this wrench here allows you to repair one of the tokens in a region that you are currently occupying out on the board. As I mentioned, there are other cards that you can add into your hand, and they can either allow you to perform all 3 of the different actions, or perform just 2 of them, but with one of them being a lot more powerful. Players will be storing any trash that they collect on their own personal player boards, and at the beginning of the game you can only hold 1 of each color of trash. One exception here is that each player does also have some additional storage where they can store up to 4 additional trash bags of any color, and this is located on the bottom of your board. The only catch with this is that anytime you use it, you do have to gain a fine token. The 3 slots in the middle of the board is where players are going to be storing any of the upgrades that they're able to acquire, and every time that you cover up one of those spaces, it also gains you 2 victory points, which is a really nice bonus. But the different upgrades can allow you to do different things like gain access to those restricted roads, unlock 2 of your locked storage tokens at once, increase the amount of money you gain when you do visit a recycling plant, or allow you to substitute money for any any of the requirements when it comes to repairing the different items out on the board. And finally, there is also an upgrade that allows you to get a second garbage truck. You might have also noticed these different icons in the bottom left of your player board here, and what this is saying is every time you repair one of those different objects out on the main board, you'll then get to choose between gaining one of the upgrade tiles, gaining a new card to add into your hand, or instead just gaining one victory point. And now that you know the basic rules of the game, I do want to walk you through a few rounds and show you how it actually plays, because the publisher was kind enough to send me a prototype copy. And I do have this set up for 2 players, which means that we're going to have 2 trash bags on each of the different locations, just randomly distributed. And we have the 2 player boards in the bottom here with the green player and the orange player and their 3 associated cards. Like I mentioned, everyone starts with the same 3 cards, and we also each start with 1 garbage truck, which you can see on the starting location on the left here. And each of us do have our victory point trackers starting on the 5 space here on the victory point track. And the reason for that is because, like I said, you can lose victory points if you get unlucky with those finds. But I think we can just jump into the game here, and I'll start with this player on the left here first. And I think what we're going to do first is play this card, which allows us to move and then pick up 1 trash bag. So we're going to move our green truck down here and then pick up a yellow trash bag. And that's it for the first turn, but now it is the other player's turn. They're going to do something slightly different than me. Instead of moving and then picking up, they're going to pick up and then move. So that means they get to pick up 1 trash from the space they are already located at. Then they're going to move this way before I'm able to cut them off. But now we go back to my turn, and I get to play another card either to the left or the right of my pre-existing card. And then I can perform all the actions in order. You have to perform them in order, but you are allowed to skip actions. And the current objective I'm going for is to try and pick up 2 yellow tokens and then reach this location here so that I can repair it. And that will allow me to unlock one of my storage areas. And I think I can actually do all of that already in this single turn, because if I played this card like that, now I can perform a movement action and then a pick up trash action, which I will have to put in my extra storage, which does gain me a fine. But then the next card gains me another movement action, which moves me up here. One thing to note is I am moving through a restricted area, which does gain me another fine token. So I'm kind of playing dirty here, but now we have the screwdriver action, which allows us to repair one of the objects in the space we're currently located if we do meet the requirements. And this one wants 2 yellows, which we do have, so we'll be able to flip that over, and then it gains us with the ability to remove one of these lock tokens off of our board. We do have to discard the trash because that gets spent. And I think I'm going to open up my red trash storage so we can now hold 3 of those. And because I just repaired an object, that means I get to either choose an upgrade token, a new card to add to my hand, or a victory point. And I think I'm going to gain the upgrade token that allows me to unlock 2 more of my storage spaces at once here. So we put that in like so, and that's going to gain us 2 victory points just for making that upgrade. And I'm going to unlock the yellow and the green. The other player's going to use their card to move and then pick up, and then pick up and move. And another way to say that is that they're going to move and then pick up 2, and they can pick up both of these because they do have space for it. And then, like I said, actions are always optional, and I think they're actually going to stay here because now that they have a red, yellow, and green, there is an object they can fix here with the green that will also allow them to unlock one of their storage locations. But what they did there was a really good move because they actually cleared this whole area of trash bags, and they know that I already have 2 fines, which means that I don't want to go this way because that's going to give me another fine. I can't go this way or that way because those will also give me fines, which means that this is the only way that I can move if I don't want to have to reveal what these fines are and face the consequences. So I think the only option I have here to do anything meaningful is to play my last card on the left here, which is going to allow me to pick up, move twice, pick up, move, and repair. So if we do that, I can pick up and then move twice, pick up again, and we'll take this yellow, and then I can move and repair. But like I said, actions are optional. You just have to do them in order. So we're going to skip that move and go straight into the repair because we do have a yellow now, which means that we can complete this. This allows us to unlock the last storage location on our board, so that means we can get rid of this token. And for our extra bonus for fixing that, I think I will take one of these bonus tiles, and this one does allow us to move through the restricted zones. So I'll throw that on our board here, and that also gains me 2 victory points. Hopefully our fines work out because that was my last turn and I wasn't able to gain any money in that turn, and each fine does cost 2 coins. And each player only starts with 2 coins at the beginning of the game, which means that I'll only be able to pay off one of these. But we're not going to resolve that yet, so let's see what the other player is going to do. And like I said, we do want to repair this, so I think that's going to be the first action we do. So we'll throw this card in the front, and we're going to skip that first move action and go straight into the repair. So that's going to cost us a green. We can discard that, which allows us to flip this over. And it looks like there's lots of red tokens around us right now, so I'm going to get rid of the capacity lock on our red tokens. And also because they fixed that object, they also get that additional bonus of either a bonus tile, a card, or a victory point. And I think they're going to take a card, and we're going to take this one over here that allows us to do one of each of the actions. Even though we have 4 cards now, you still only get to play 3 of them each round, but because this one is so powerful, you can almost guarantee that we will be using it. But now we can move, and then we can pick up 2. Unfortunately for us, there's only 1 at this location, but we did clear the space on our red, which allows us to store that without getting a fine. And for our last movement, we'll move over here to the right because it's pretty much our only option, and also it's not a bad one. But if we move backwards, that's not really putting us in a great position, and it will also get us a fine. Moving down here would also get us a fine. And I should have pointed these out earlier because at the start of the game, there are certain locations that are going to have these different blockades set up, and that completely blocks off the area until you reach the 3rd round. And after the 2nd round, but before the 3rd, those do all get removed. But we did just finish the 1st round here, so this can move over to the 2nd round. Players now each have the opportunity to pay off any of their fines, but it's only this player that was playing dubiously. And the way that this works when you don't have enough money to pay off your fines is that you can pay off the ones that you can. So I have 2 coins, and that's what it costs to pay off a fine, so we'll get rid of that one. And because we don't have the money to pay for this one, we do have to reveal it. We don't have a choice here. And that's not great because this is going to force us to get rid of one of our upgrade tokens. So I guess I'll get rid of this top one now that we've unlocked 2 already by fixing things. So that's going to go back, and then I have to pick 2 of these locations to place these tokens back onto. And that's why you want to be paying off your fines or just not getting them at all. And now we just take our cards back into our hand, and then the first player marker is going to be passed to the next player, and then they're going to be starting the next round. And I think they're just going to play this card down here to move 1 and then pick up trash because they do have space for a green here. The other player is going to use the same card, but what's nice about their current location is that they are able to move through these restricted zones now because they do have that upgrade still, so they're going to be moving through here and then picking up this blue token. And I think they're going to use their powerful card here to move, pick up, and repair all in a single card. And they're going to be moving back up here, picking up a red token, and they do have space for it. And then because they have a green, they are able to repair this, which gains them 2 coins. So let's repair that for a green, get rid of this, gain 2 more coins. And for their bonus, they're going to gain this upgrade tile, which gains them an additional 3 coins anytime that they visit one of the recycling plants. Because they also filled in one of those spaces there, that does gain them 2 victory points. And also because this player lost one of their upgrades, they should have lost 2 victory points earlier. But that is not the end of their turn yet because that was only 1 card. They can still move and pick up, and they are going to do that, so they'll move up here and pick up this green in order to replace the one that they just spent. And now it's the other player's turn, and they're going to play this card in order to move, pick up, and then pick up and move. We are going to move the wrong way through a one-way street, which does also gain us another fine. But then we can pick up 2, and we do have space for both of these, which is nice. And then for our final movement, we're going to be moving through this restricted area, which we do have access to, in order to visit the recycling plant. This is the one that wants us to contribute 2 trash bags of different colors in order to claim a column. But what's important to note about visiting the recycling plants is that you can actually do this twice each time you visit them. Because we have 2 blues and a red and a green, we can actually pair a blue with each of the other colors in order to claim the first column and also the second column all in a single turn here. So that is really efficient and nice. And that's going to gain us 5 victory points as well as 5 coins. Looks like we might actually be able to pay off our fines this time around. One thing to note about visiting the recycling plants is that even if you do have more actions left, your turn always comes to an end immediately after you resolve your effects here. But you still get to do one more thing, and you do have to do this, and that's to move your truck out of the recycling plant to one of the 3 orange locations. And I think we're going to be moving up here just because there's lots for us to do in this area. That's the end of our turn, and we can go back to the other player here, and I think they're going to try and do a similar action and visit this recycling plant. And we are going to gain a fine here, but I think this is the best course of action. So I'm just going to play any card because it doesn't matter what we play at the end here because we're not going to be able to play those actions anyway. But we're going to move, pick up, repair, and move. Except we're going to skip that first move and we're just going to pick up and repair because we do have 2 yellows after picking that up. But we didn't have capacity for that second yellow, so we do need to gain a fine for that. That's okay because repairing this does gain us 4 coins, which will help us pay off that fine. And for our bonus here, I'm going to take this token, which gains us an extra truck. And I have that down here, and that's just going to be put on the starting location. This allows us to now split our actions between the 2 trucks, but all the actions on a single card do have to be performed by a single truck. But that's not going to matter too much just yet because with our final move action, we're going to be moving up here and then contributing 2 of the trash bags of different colors. And unfortunately, we can only do that once here because we just have the green and the red. But that will gain us 4 victory points plus 3 coins, but plus another 3 coins because we have this upgrade that we took earlier. So that's going to get us 6 coins and the 4 victory points plus an additional 2 because we just gained that upgrade. The other player is going to put this card on the end here, so they'll be able to move, pick up, move, and then repair. So we'll just move down here, pick up twice, and then move, and repair. But they're just going to skip that movement and repair the one that's right here because that's just 1 blue, which they just picked up. And for their bonus, they're going to be picking up this card here, which allows them to move 3 spaces and then do a repair. And it was also a strategic move to stay in this location because we are now going to be moving into the 3rd round, which means that all of these different blockade tokens are going to be removed, and they are in a good position to start taking advantage of all those tokens that haven't been able to be claimed yet. Each of the players do have enough money to pay off both of their fines, but then we're going to be continuing into the 3rd round, and then after the 3rd round, we're going to be moving into the 4th one, and whenever you get to the 4th round, this icon means that you're also going to be clearing out all of the recycling plants, making those spaces available once again. At that point, players will be trading in any coins they have remaining, and you gain 1 victory point for every 3 coins. But one thing that is important to note is that there is this 1 repair location in the middle of the board that is printed on, and this one can be continually used to exchange 3 coins into 2 victory points. So once this area does unlock, if you have some extra money, that is a really nice place to visit. Some of the extra cards you can gain also come with a victory point value as well, and if you have any of those, you'll be adding those victory points. And then of course, it's the player with the most victory points that wins the game. A really solid game here that's quick to play and has a really fun theme as well. And if this one does look interesting to you, be sure to check it out, and I will have a link to the campaign in the description down below.